of the tour match between India and Leicestershire. And India ended the day on a very, very strong position because they've taken a lead of 366 runs at stumps on day three. Now, obviously, there's a lot of concern going into this match that maybe, the batting might be looking a bit rusty and that India's biggest players, as things stand, were actually they were not having the best of times out in the middle. But again, as I've stressed before, as I'm sure many other people will tell you, that a practice game is just that. It's a practice game. It's not a competitive game. It's not something that you're going to be judging players off the scores that they have, because again, these aren't really official games. It doesn't have first class status. So as such, I don't think it's necessarily fair or correct to be judging players too much of what they are doing. Of course, there are some interesting talking points after the end of day three, which we will of course come to in just a bit. But before we do that, let me just run you guys through the scorecards. India are of course 364 for 9. By the way, if you check any scorecard, it will show you 364 for 7. But that's also because two Indian batsmen, that's Ravindra Jadeja and Shreyas Iyer, in fact had double batting going into, this second innings, which I will get to that part in just a bit. But as I said, let's first run through the scorecard. So generally speaking, most of the Indian batsmen didn't look too bad out there, and this could be a combination of two factors. One, considering it's the third day, maybe the pitch is easing out a bit to bat on, or number two, it could be the fact that they are getting more accustomed to the conditions, so that's why they're finding it easier to bat as things stand. So, you had KS Bharat, who opened the innings. He had a well-made 43. Gil Vino got out for 38. Vihari could only make 20. Now, Iyer, obviously, in the first time he batted, got a bit of a start, but only got 30-odd runs. The second time he batted was much better for him. He scored 62 of 89 deliveries with 11 boundaries. And then, of course, he ended up holding out of Nagarkoti's bowling. And if we're talking about the other batters, of course, Ravindra Jadeja, he had a bit of a mixed day in terms of it really was an innings of two halves for him. So he started out, he got dismissed of a duck in just 2 balls, but then his second stint at the crease has been much better. He's at 56 not out, and he will resume batting for India on the 4th day. Because there were other decent showings as well. Virat Kohli got a nice 50. He ended up getting out in 67, and whilst I guess obviously, a lot of people would have been thinking that, okay, yeah, he's might just, get 100. But I mean, again, as I said, this is not a competitive match. If he gets out even a 99, doesn't really matter that much. So, I think it was a good showing on his part. So 67, and of course the fact is that he only ended up getting dismissed from a ball by Bumrah. Cheteshwar Pujara got 22, but ended up getting stumped after a ball by Sai Kishore, and that came at a point when he was looking to kind of take the attack to, the opposition bowlers. So interesting from Pujara, but all things considered, I think he's going to be, a part of the team. Shardul Thakur got 28 of 38 balls and ended up getting out only after a nice little yorker from Kamlesh Nagarkoti. And Siraj is the other person who's batting alongside Jadeja, and they will be the people resuming batting on day 4. I'm assuming India will look to probably try and seal, a win tomorrow maybe. So maybe you'll see tomorrow when the batsmen come out. That's both Jadeja and, Mohammad Siraj, is that you might see them go for a few shots. They might look to, get the lead up near 400 and then just, end up declaring and sending Leicestershire out to bat for the second innings. But of course, it could also be the fact that, they might want to let them bat a little longer because, of course, as I said, the result of this match doesn't matter. It's more about the preparation side of things. So, again, as I said, looking at the statistics or the, other things like that on this match would necessarily be doing a bit of a disservice, because I don't think anyone is looking to, score big runs here in terms of, I don't think anyone in the team management will necessarily look at the numbers. They'll look more at how they batted, how comfortable it is that they looked in the middle more often than not. So I think that's going to be more of the focus. Anyway, I think if there's one thing that we can pick up here is that, we could very well see the likes, so someone like a Ravindra Jadeja and Shreyas Iyer got to bat twice. Now, that could be because, of course, Jadeja getting to bat a second time, you somewhat understand, because, he got out for a duck, and a 2-ball duck at that. But Iyer getting to bat a second time after scoring 30-odd runs. I think, and to answer your question, Serene, no, Jadeja didn't bat thrice. In this innings, he's batted twice. So, anyway, moving on to what I was saying is that I think given the fact that Jadeja got to bat twice and that Iyer got to bat twice, I think team management is seriously considering starting them in that one-off test. So we could very well be seeing. I remember a couple of days back when on our dugout when I was with Sidvi, I had said and we had said that India's batting lineup might look like Rohit, Gill, and you might have Pujara, Kohli, and then of course Hanuma Vihari at 5. So I think the battle for number 5 is of course between Vihari and Shreyas got to bat a second time. So the fact is, I think they might just be looking at him to play that number 5 role now that Pujara's there to prop up number 3, Kohli's there at 4. I think Iyer might just be that person. And as for Jadeja, I think he might very well be the front runner in terms of getting to play as that, as the spinner role. Of course, we know that, taking him as that lone spinner would be a bit of a logical choice in that regard. At least it would be understandable because, you'd also not only be getting a spinner, but also someone who can prop up the lower order batting because, Pujara, remember, he's just making a comeback to the test team and he's got some runs domestically, but I'd be interested to see how it is he fares against, England's best. Kohli, we know his form has been patchy. Iyer, again, he's done decently so far in Test cricket, but recently his shortcomings against quality pace bowling and especially bouncy bowling has been exposed. So you might just end up seeing the Rishabh Pant and Ravindra Jadeja backing up that number at 6 and 7. So I think, that's what's going to happen. But of course, we won't know for sure what exactly is going to be the case until the test match. But it does seem signs are strongly pointing towards that. So obviously, I think that would be of more importance to look at. And as for the day, I think it was a pretty good day. But of course, towards the later parts, at least the batsmen were finding it easier to bat. And of course, they weren't helped by some errant bowling. So again, it harkens back to a previous discussion we've had on this channel where we said, what exactly was the point of this warm-up game in terms of, you're not exactly playing quality opposition. No disrespect to Leicestershire, who are a decent side at best, but I don't think that they're up there with the cream of the crop. And at times today, it did, show. So anyway, but I don't think Indians will care too much about that. I think they'll be very happy with how it is that they've gone in this particular match, especially in the second innings, because remember, after the first innings ended, they owned them, excuse me. After the first innings ended, India only had like a 2-run lead. So, I think they've done much better in the second innings. And of course, you can say that that's down to 2 factors that, you could actually be getting used to the conditions, or that the conditions have eased out just a tad. We don't quite know for sure, and I think it could very well be a combination of both factors. But let's see how it is that they end up going. Of course, the final test of that series is coming up soon. But before that, they have to get through the last day of this warm-up game. So it'll be interesting to see what the strategy is. Again, if you ask me, I think I would say that I think they'll look to bat a little bit towards the later part of the match, towards the early parts of the match, and then they'll declare, maybe get to 400 or declare, try and bowl Leicestershire out. Again, the win here doesn't really matter, but I think that's what they'll look to do. So again, do join us tomorrow after the, match. After the match ends, and we'll see what exactly happens on day 4. I know I'll be keeping a keen eye, and tomorrow, of course, is also the first match between India and Ireland in the T20I series. Yes, I know it's like an absolute multiverse of, it's like an absolute multiverse of cricket if you're looking at it that way. That, you have on one side the test team is warming up, and on the other side the white ball team is getting ready to play their first match of a 2-match series against Ireland. So I think that'll be fun to see if it does happen. When it happens, I'm sorry, it'll be fun to see tomorrow because, of course, we're going to be tracking both of these matches. We'll be tracking the warm-up game as well. We will also be there with you guys live before, during, and after the match against Ireland. So do join us for that. Thank you all for joining us in this particular update for the India versus Leicestershire warm-up game. As always, if you enjoy what it is that we do, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to leave us a comment if we haven't taken your comments here. Again, don't forget to leave us a comment, tell us how it is you think we do, and of course don't forget to tap the bell icon so that every single time it is that we go live. Again, thank you all so much for joining us. As always, I've been Shane Dines, joining you from the comfort of my home. I'll be with you guys tomorrow, and that will be very, very soon. Bye bye.